up, BC? Kieran here. Time for share some new finds with you guys. So, been a couple weeks, picked up a bunch of records. This one that we're listening to right now is one that I've kind of been looking forward to. A friend told me about it, that it was coming out, I guess, a couple months ago, and it's completely new to me. Just came out end of June, I believe, June 27th. So the album is Ruby Rushton, 2 for Joy, and this is a label based out of London called 22A, and they do kind of, I'm not familiar with any of the other music that they release on the label, but it's kind of like private press. The main guys are Al Dobson Jr., I believe, and Tenderlonious, and they do kind of electro-y, maybe some hip-hop-y type stuff. You can check it out on the Bandcamp. Anyway, so Tenderlonious is on tenor sax for this, Edward Cathorn, and it's kind of their jazz project. So it's 2 for Joy, Ruby Rushton, and it's jazz, but with the drums, it definitely has a kind of like hip-hop-y feel to it. So I was gonna order, you can only order it off their Bandcamp, so if it sounds interesting, check it out. I was fortunate enough, my friend got a bunch of, I guess, promo copies from the label, because she's opening up a small little record shop here. So she gave me one, so I didn't have to pay for the shipping across the pond, but anyway. So it's kind of just like a cardboard, very simple type of thing. Kind of get the idea. But yeah, it kind of looks just like sketched out cover of the dudes, the quartet. So really cool. I'll give you a taste of some other tracks. So I just got this yesterday and I've been bumping it all morning. So tenor sax, trumpet, Aidan Shepherd on keys and bass, and then Yusef Days on drums. So this just came out. Soulful, jazzy, little funky hip-hop vibe. Really enjoying this. Ruby Rushton, 2 for Joy, just out on 22A Records. So I'll show you what the label looks like here. Just like that. Can I get that without glare? Anyway, so kind of private press, very thick, nice thick vinyl. And the one you can sample, I might put it up for you guys. Well, anyway, online, there's a video, is 2 for Joy. That's I guess their single. Which is that. But you guys can check that out online. Okay, so on to the next record. Check that out if you're into that. I know some of their earlier records are now going for a lot on Discogs, so if you're into this, I don't know how many they're pressing up, but might not be available for a long time, and it's definitely cool to support, you know, small projects like that. So I mentioned, I think it was in my last video or the one before, that I had gone to see Robert Glasper. I took my dad for his birthday. Anyone familiar with Robert Glasper? modern jazz pianist who's also kind of balances the line of hip hop and jazz, does a bit of both. He has his Robert Glasper Experiment, which is more hip hop R&B, and then he has his Robert Glasper Trio. So after that, I decided to pick up his new record that just came out. So this one came out, I think, just maybe a week before the Ruby Russian, a week or two, and it's covered, so it's all covers. That's the title of the album, cover. It's on Blue Note, so a modern Blue Note release. And this is recorded live at Capitol Studios. So it's 2 LPs, and you have songs. What do you got here? They do So Beautiful with an appearance by Music Soul Child. Harry Belafonte is on here. They do a cover of a Bilal song, Levels. What else? A Joni Mitchell song. They do a whole bunch of different stuff on here, covers, do their own take. And it's really nice actually. It's not like mind-blowing, but check it out online. Nice gatefold, really nice packaging. That's not water here, that's part of the design. And this is what the label looks like. Kind of a sketched piano. It's the Ruby Rushton still. Okay, I'm gonna like this LP more and more as I listen to it. Okay, so now on to some digs. Those are 2 modern releases I picked up. I picked up this, the cover is beat up, but it was actually, I kind of got it for free, but I've been wanting this record for a long time, and I've never seen it. It's not rare or anything, but I've never seen it when I've been digging, and it's Ramsey Lewis' Sun Goddess, and this record was just shown, and wow, I can't even remember who showed it. I just watched the video yesterday. Anyway, this is a great album. It's funky. It's definitely funky, and I have a couple Ramsey Lewis that I like. Salongo I really like, and this one is definitely worth picking up. If you see it, I'm sure most of you already know it. Definitely been sampled a lot in hip hop. Great album. This cover is beat up, but record plays great. So definitely happy to pick that up until I find a nicer copy. This one is one I've been wanting to check out for a while. I'd never heard it. I just pulled the trigger on a reissue that I knew the store had for a while, and I'm very happy that I did, because this is a killer record, and it is brother Jack McDuff moon rapping. So everyone that's shown this in the past, you guys weren't wrong. Thank you. Sometimes, not that sometimes albums are bad, but sometimes albums get hyped up and then they're not necessarily to your taste, or you don't like them as much as other people do. But this moon rapping is freaking off the chain, to use a hip hop expression. Anyway, if you don't know this, I'll give you a little taste now. But it is funky ass jazz music. So this was also on Blue Note. This is a nice reissue actually by, who is it? Like Heavenly Sounds or something it's called. Love the drumming on this. Woo. So just let that ride out. Most of you probably know that. So very happy to pick that up. Leave that there. Okay, I'll show you guys this. Why not? So, buddy, VC buddy Paul, Racka P Dub, really into the audiophile pressings and schooling me on that. And I didn't have any audiophile jazz reissues, and I came across this one, and it's used, and I picked it up. My birthday is in a few days. On Monday is my birthday. So this was last week. I figured I'd treat myself a little birthday present. And this is a Classic Records pressing of Lee Morgan Sextet. I think this is volume 2, doesn't say that on here. And this is beautiful. This is an LP that I knew I was never gonna find an original in the store. I mean, if I somehow did come across one, there's no way I would be able to afford it. So this is Blue Note 1541, and these are just, they did a great job, Classic Records, on this. I think this one was from 2004, 2005. They did the really nice reproduction of the cover. And then the LP, which is a really nice, I think it's, I don't know if it's 220 or, what is it? I think it's 200, somewhere I have the 200 gram. And they reproduced the deep groove as well as the Lexington label, Blue Note Records, 161 Lexington Avenue. So they used the address. Great job, and of course it sounds absolutely great. So, and Lee Morgan's one of my favorite trumpeters, which I've definitely said before. So, really happy to have this. And it's my first audiophile pressing, Classic Records, which I've heard nothing but good things about. So, and I love this Lee Morgan LP. I had it on CD. I have not all, but most of his albums on CD. But this is definitely one to check out, and one that I'm happy to have in this great quality. So on to some more jazz, some cheaper stuff. Picked up this one I had seen around. So it's Monk Misterioso, recorded on tour. It was on Columbia, and I'd seen this around for not too cheap, and then but it was too expensive for me to pick up, and then I found this one for like $9 or something. So I grabbed it, and it's a Canadian pressing, mono, sticker on the Columbia label there. Don't know, it says 5891. I don't know what that would be from, but anyway, maybe someone's filing system at a radio station or something, I don't know. Anyway, so this is Thelonious Monk on piano, Charlie Rouse on tenor sax, Larry Gales on bass, Ben Riley on drums, except for a few songs where they swap out a couple of the players. But anyway, I listened to this, actually this was enjoyable. It's from recorded from different concerts around the, I think I mean, what would this be, early to mid 60s, I believe. Cool. Monk Misterioso. If you see that, check it out. Kind of a cool cover, actually. Just in the dark, head popping out. And Monk's one of my favorite artists as well, one of my favorite jazz musicians. Picked up my first Dave Brubeck LP. This was, they had it at the store with Time Out, but the Time Out was, it was only $10, but the cover wasn't in great shape. The record was kind of sounding scratchy, so I left it behind. But this one was in much better shape, and it was cheaper. Countdown, Time in Outer Space, the Dave Brubeck Quartet. So this is an original Canadian mono pressing of this, 6-eye. For those of you that don't know what the Canadian 6-eye pressing, it's nowhere near as pretty as the American red and black. It's kind of burgundy, but very happy to get this. I don't have any Dave Brubeck in my vinyl collection, and it's a pretty decent LP. I wouldn't say it's as good as Time Out, but it's from around the same time, I think, 62, 63. I hate when they don't say the year, but definitely, I've only listened to this one through once, but I will definitely check it out again. And also on this one, I mean, I haven't read all the liner notes, but it doesn't really seem to say who he's playing with on here. But and the painting on here is Orange and Black Wall, 1959 by Franz Klein. Next record, very happy to pick up. Not an original, but Mingus, Charles Mingus, another one of my favorite artists. So I got Lee Morgan, Thelonious Monk, Charles Mingus. Those are definitely up there with my top jazz artists. And this one is a 70s pressing, which I don't usually buy, but two reasons. It has the tip-on cover, so really nice. The cover looks as though it would be from an original copy, and then the record's in great shape and it wasn't expensive. So it's a 70s, early 70s Columbia release, and I don't think I'm ever gonna find an original. And if I do, I'll be very happy. But for now, this is a great addition to my Charlie Mingus collection. I'm sure most of you know this album. If you don't, you're getting into jazz. Definitely recommend you check this out. This one, there's so many good Charles Mingus records. I definitely recommend this, as well as Blues and Roots, which is probably my favorite overall. I know people probably prefer this one, but I love Blues and Roots on Atlantic, as well as Black Saint and the Sinner Lady. But so this is Columbia, Charles Mingus, early 70s repress. Very happy to have that. Cool. Next one I picked up was not as cheap as the others, but very happy to find, and it's Gary Bart's Juju Man. This one is definitely one to seek out. It's my second Gary Bart's record, I believe. I have Follow the Medicine Man as well, which is excellent. There's still a few Gary Bart's that I would love to find, but they don't pop up too often in Montreal here. So I'll give you guys a taste of this for those of you who don't know Gary Bart's. Definitely some dope jazz. For me, it's spiritual. Love it. So this one's on Catalyst, which is a label I don't really know that well. This gatefold is in beautiful shape. It's still, the spine isn't fully cracked. And this has, Gary Bart's plays alto and soprano saxophones. Oh, getting a phone call. Just ignore that for now. Sorry guys. Gary Bart's on alto and soprano sax, clarinet, synthesizer, and vocals. Charles Mims on piano, Curtis Robertson on electric and acoustic bass, Howard King on drums, and on one track you have Sarita on My Funny Valentine. This is that track. Soulful.
When you to speak.
And this one is, I believe, from 76, says on here.
Don't change your hair for me.
So that's Gary Bart's Juju Man, 76 on Catalyst. Few more records, last jazz one. Paul, you showed this recently. I just picked it up, actually, funny enough. I think you would just pull it out of your collection, but Max Roach's We Insist Freedom Now Suite. Unbelievable piece of work. Like you said, not something you're going to listen to all the time, but this is on Candid Records. This is a reissue. Many people have spoken about it, and I finally pulled the trigger. The elusive Candid label. I don't see them too often just because there's not many. I have one original Charles Mingus on Candid, but this is just beautiful, beautiful piece of work and extremely powerful stuff from the early 60s. And I'm surprised that, you know, this came out as early as it did in the early 60s for Max Roach. Definitely not just like a straight jazz set. You know, this is something to experience, and it's there's a message here, and it's powerful. So definitely check this out, and just pick up a reissue, because I mean, if you're lucky enough to find to have an original, but there are not many of them out there on Candid. What we're listening to right now, you probably recognize it. So I found this voodoo kind of sampler at the record store, and I don't have voodoo on LP. It just got reissued again, and I haven't picked it up. I find it's expensive. Hold that thought. I find it's expensive, but I found this, and the collector in me had to pick it up. It's got 3 tracks off voodoo: Chicken Grease, Feel Like Making Love, and Spanish Joint. Funky ass music. So you guys know Voodoo. Anyway, I thought this was kind of cool. It has the instrumentals of those 3 tracks on the other side, which is what we're grooving to right now. In case I want to, practice singing the songs myself, I need the instrumentals. Lay some chops down. Anyway, so I picked this up. It was kind of something cool to see and cool to add to the collection. And lastly, one of my favorite soul artists, Curtis Mayfield, Superfly. Original pressing, Canadian pressing on the Curtin label. You guys all know this. Curtis Mayfield is one of my favorite soul singers. It's my 3rd LP of his now. I have Curtis, which is my favorite, and Roots. Those 2 albums are unbelievable. This is the soundtrack to the blaxploitation film Superfly. So very happy to add this one to my soul collection, which isn't growing as quickly as my jazz collection I find in Montreal here. It's tough to come by soul records. Not that it's easy to come by jazz, but they definitely pop up more often, Every time I don't forget, but it blows me away how good Voodoo is every time I hear it. Anyway, that's it for now. I've been listening to too many records. Just been summertime, enjoying it, spending time outside with friends. Went to a wedding on the weekend, playing golf, what else? Softball. Just getting out there, doing stuff, Anyway, I hope everyone's well. See you guys soon. Peace.